Hello, everyone. We are so grateful that you are here with us today. We have come together again, my beautiful friends and I, to just have another discussion about things going on in our lives. And we are so grateful that you are here with us watching this. If someone forwarded this to you, we're grateful that you took time out. If you shared it with someone, thank you so much. We still have, you can find us on Facebook, Her Time Tiempo de Ella. You can find us on Instagram at Her Time for Talk. And you can also email us if you have any questions at hertimefortalk@gmail.com. So thank you for joining us. Today, our episode is Healthy Inside and Out. We're talking about our thoughts on health. That's one of the main things that is always bombarding us is, are you healthy? What are you doing to keep healthy? What health standards do you have? What diets are you on? What are you eating? Like, wow, you look fantastic. Have you lost weight? Or oh, I've gained weight these past 2 years because of COVID. So what are we doing with our health and our bodies? And so much of the time, most of my life, I lived where I felt like my body was my enemy. I just, like, if I ate less, I gained more, and if I ran more, I, was tired and then my feet hurt. And I just felt like my body was always against me. No matter what I did to make myself healthier, I felt like my body was against me to not allow me to do that. And I think that I just had to settle into this place where I realized that my body isn't against me. My body is my friend. And I think so many people don't realize that our bodies are with us through everything. They, our bodies allow us to taste that amazing dessert that we love, ice cream, Jeanette, or, bakery, donuts, bread, Rosie, coffee, all of those amazing things. Our body allows us to enjoy those things. Our body allows us to wake up in the morning and see it, and our eyes allow us to see the sunset. Our hands allow us to hug our family, and our lips allow us to kiss our people, and so our body is our friend. It allows us to do all of these amazing things. And I just wanted to come to this point where, we realize that, and we start to think about our bodies. Like, I had to start to think about my body as my friend and be grateful. So how do you ladies feel about that? Is your body your friend or your foe?
I think I'm in between right now.
You're a tweener?
It's a friend foe.
What's a frenemy? A frenemy?
A friend foe. I think I'm learning, right, to trust my body as my friend, but it was a foe for a long time. So yeah, I feel like I'm on this journey, and I don't want to answer too much because I know you're going to ask more questions, but right now I just feel like I'm in the middle. Like I'm trying, and learning at this age, just to embrace my body as my friend. I'll leave it at that.
I will say the same as Rosie, but I have to say that the way you were saying those things, like, your hands allow you to do this, and your eyes allow you to do this, and like when you were saying that, I was like, oh yeah, our bodies are pretty wonderful, the thing is, no, but the reason I say that, because it's not like, oh wow, that's brand new, I never heard that before, but it's because that should tell us that we should focus on, the fact that we are fearfully and wonderfully made, and that he knit us together in our mother's wombs, and we are God's masterpiece, and and we were created in his image. So like when you were saying that, I was like, well, yeah, our bodies are pretty amazing. But at the same time, I do also kind of like, but I'm like, why do I have to like this so much? And why do I have to, and why don't I do this more? And so, yeah, it is definitely I feel like it's a constant, like battle or something, a
Love-hate
constant
relationship.
struggle. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I have to say, like, when you, and I agree with Jeanette, when you said, your hands and, the breath you take, and yeah, my body is my friend when I think about that, right? In that aspect. But when I think about my health and when I think about my health journey and where I'm at, then I'm like, it's just right there. But
Yeah.
Daisy?
Yeah, I have to agree, but I think I would put it in this way, and that is, I can recognize, as Regina was describing, right? I can recognize that my body's my friend, but I'm treating my body like it's my foe. And the reason for that is because of my health stuff, I just get angry at it when it doesn't do something the way that I think it should do something, or the way that it used to do it. I'm treating my body like it's a foe, but I know that my body is my friend. So
Well, that's a good
That's good.
segue. When have you ever felt out of control physically?
when COVID hit, honestly, I had lost some weight prior to COVID. I was at a weight that I felt so good. I felt like, man, I'm there. I feel good. I feel healthy. I feel like, I'm where I want to be. And then COVID hit, and it was like I lost control to a certain extent, right? Physically, like I just let myself go. And it didn't help being in that, going through this pandemic. My body, I was treating my body as a foe because I was not taking care of it the way I needed to. I was consuming things that I shouldn't be consuming, that I knew were bad for me, but I was like, hey, we were watching movies. There's nowhere to go. And there's the popcorn and there's the chips and there's the chocolate, so that was honestly a season in my life where I felt like, oh my gosh, I let myself go. And now I'm paying for it. Now I'm trying to get myself back. And my body is not cooperating on top of the hormones and everything else we have to deal with.
Rosie is
I'm
feisty
mad.
tonight.
You sound mad at your body right now.
Bad body.
It's not your body, it's the hormones. No, just kidding.
I love what Daisy has said, that she's just mad sometimes at her body, right? Because it doesn't do what you want it to do. So yeah, I feel you.
That's funny.
Anyone else feel out of control physically?
I felt out of control the day that I was diagnosed with MS. It was the first thing that the doctor told me after explaining to me what MS was. The first thing he said was, Daisy, this is not due to anything that you've done. It is just, just kind of a luck of the draw type of thing. So at that point, not only did I not do anything to get it, but I couldn't do anything to get out of it either. Like, okay, at that point, it was like, okay, Lord, this is yours. I can't do anything, so that's the most out of control that I've ever felt, is when I was diagnosed with MS.
Yeah, that was a rough, I remember asking you all of these questions, like, how do you get it? And how did you know? And what made you want to go to the hospital? Like, why did you talk to a doctor? Like, and I was asking you all those questions because I had never known anyone that had to go through that. And so asking you those questions, I don't know if that drove you nuts, but I was like curious because it was something that I'd never heard before, And so, yeah, I can remember, when you were going to the doctor's visits and, the medications. And I mean, and then I remember Rico praying for you, and so, yeah, it's been a journey.
Yeah.
Jeanette?
I kind of feel like, I don't know, like maybe this is way too depressing what I'm gonna say, but I feel like, okay, I must, wow, this sounds really bad. I must not have been or am now not in control or have not been in control of my, okay, of my weight, let's say. Now of my health, there are things that I have tried to do. I don't always stick to it though. So I get upset with myself that I don't always, like I'll start something and I'll be like, wow, I'm doing really good. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, yeah, I don't do that anymore, So I don't know. I feel like that's something that I'm 54 and I feel like I've been like out of control forever then. Not forever. That sounds horrible. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Or no?
Yeah, but I think that that's just the culture, that will lead me right into my next question. I mean, I think it's just the culture that we are always like, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? Instead of really listening to our bodies. So when I was younger, even up till recently, I have tried every diet because, you want to find something that's going to make you feel good and make you look good and, do all the things that it says it's going to do. And so you try it all, right? And that's just this culture. We've grown up in this culture where we have to look like the models on the magazine or the ladies on TV or, and we've like, how come I don't look like that? She's doing the paleo. Oh, well, then I'm going to do the paleo. Oh, she's doing the Whole30. Well, then I'm going to do the Whole30, And so we're always going to that next thing so that we can be what we're not. What diets have you tried?
I think it'd be easier to say which ones we haven't.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. So
so
I tried,
right? So we've tried it all, right?
Body Works.
Raise your hand. Let's see. Whole30.
That was a question.
Yeah, that was a question. Raise your hand.
Okay.
Watchers,
Or,
raise your hand.
oh
For
yeah.
what?
Weight Watchers.
Tried Weight Watchers.
Oh, Weight Watchers, yeah.
Okay, if you've tried paleo.
No.
If you've tried going vegan.
No.
If you've tried you've tried the no sugar diet. If you've tried the like protein shakes. If you've tried the, let's see, what
Juicy.
Juicing. No, I haven't done juicing.
Whole30. Whole30.
Yes, Whole30.
South Beach diet. I tried. Atkins. I
keto.
tried.
Keto.
I tried.
Do you,
Atkins.
do you remember Jenny Craig?
Jenny Craig. Yeah.
Oh, I've never done those.
That one I
Okay.
never did.
Yeah,
Golo.
those meals, those planned meals. What were you gonna say, Daisy?
Golo.
Oh,
Golo?
Golo.
Golo. Golo.
I've never heard of
I'm
Golo.
sorry, it's all over the place. Yeah.
Is that the meal prepping one,
No,
Daisy? No? Okay.
no.
Huh.
No.
I'm gonna have to look into that one. So yeah, I mean, we've done it all. We've tried it all. Why? Why do you think we tried the next diet? What is it that made us want to try that next diet?
Because we're not satisfied with the way we feel, the way we look, and we're trying to get to what we want to look like. Or,
whatever we're doing at the moment is not working. That's what
Right.
makes me want to try something different. And different is whatever is popular right now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right, right. Oh, intermittent fasting.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, okay, we could go on forever with that, right? So it takes me to the verse Romans 12, 1 through 2. And it says, therefore, I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true and proper worship. So when we think about offering our bodies as a living sacrifice in this context, like, how does that affect our eating habits? How does that affect our health? Like, are we supposed to sacrifice everything, or are we supposed to, like, what do you think that means? Does it even mean anything when it comes to our health?
It's a good question.
I think it does. Yeah, to me, it does. I remember, one of the first times, or a long time ago, when I read this verse, I had never thought of my body as a tool or an instrument of worship. So what I thought was, because Paul is talking about the new believer, the transformed person into being Christ-like, it's something about me needs to be different. Something about the way I treat my body needs to be different. Something about the way I use my body needs to be different, because now I follow Christ. When I didn't, I anything went, I could do anything with it. I could use it for anything, but now it was supposed to be different. My body was now a worship tool, a worship vessel. So I need to think about it differently. So yeah, and not only does God want my heart, he wants my mind. My body comes along with those things, so yeah, it's the sacrifice is, I'm going to give up the way this body used to be used. It's a new thing now. So
When I think of, the scripture where it says, where you were reading, offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, I think we need to be more conscientious of how we're treating our bodies, right? What are we putting into our bodies? We can't do what we used to do, right? We're offering ourselves to the Lord. And so it's being more aware of, what am I consuming? And am I going to consume all this sugar? Is it going to do me any good? Am I going to change? Because I need to live that balanced life, right? And so in this context, I love the way it says, offer your bodies, because obviously this is the body we have, and we have to present ourselves in a way that's going to please God. And that's in everything, even in what we eat. And I'm talking to myself, it's reminding me, Rosie, you need to chill on the intake of sugar that you're consuming, or the bread. And so, yeah. So it's in this context, it's just offering ourselves in a way that's going to honor God.
That's different from the world, right? Different from the world, which means
Like what Daisy said.
if we know that drugs are bad for our bodies, but studies have shown that sugar is just as addictive as drugs. So, are we consuming different than the world? Are we treating our bodies and, offering our bodies as a sacrifice so it's different?
Yeah.
Not because we're trying to be restrictive, but because we're not of this world.
Yeah.
One thing that I was thinking also was that our mindset too, because like, the consuming, through our mouth, consuming the, sugar and the whatever, but also the things we consume with our minds, like the things we allow in our minds. So like, and our minds are part of our bodies, right? So like, so I was just thinking about how, the I spend too much time on social media, or I'm looking at things that I shouldn't be looking at. Not anything bad, but that I'm like, okay, wow, I just spent a whole hour, down this whole thing of these little videos or whatever. And I'm like, I could have used that hour doing something else, reading the word or reading a good book or doing something, something like that. So like, I don't know, I was just thinking about the mind aspect of it too, not just the
Everything we consume. Yeah. What our eyes consume, what our ears listen to, like, what are you listening to? What are you watching? What are you, consuming? What are you putting on your body? Like, there
Yeah.
are a lot of products out in the world that are full of poisons, and we don't pay attention to the ingredients because it's either expensive or because some superstar tells us that it's great, but we're not paying attention to what we're putting on our body as well. So yeah, it's everything that our body consumes needs to be different, and that's one of the things that I think was my next question is, what was a light bulb moment when it came to your health?
So right now, my husband and I and my son, and really all of us, our whole family, but the three of us specifically have been talking about this a lot recently. And that is, okay, besides the fact that I'm, like I said earlier, I'm 54, I'm getting older, but I'm about to be a grandma. And I keep thinking about, like, I don't want to be a grandma that is like, honey, no, don't run. I can't catch you, I can't, or wait, hold on, get up. Oh, I can't, like, I want to be a grandma that gets on the floor with the kids. I want to be running in the park with them. I want to be playing. I want to do all those things. And so we've been just trying to keep each other accountable on walking every day. Like my husband and I have been, I'm super blessed that he works from home. And so we've been able to like go on walks every day and things like that. So I think the light bulb moment for me, which should have went off a long time ago, but is just that I'm getting older and I'm gonna be a grandma. And I want to live to see my kid, all my kids have kids, and see my grandkids get older. And I want to be an active part of their lives, not just, we were just on a cruise not too long ago, and honestly, on that cruise, my husband and I kept like, oh my gosh, we kept seeing like so many people in wheelchairs or just like really struggling, like walking and everything. And I was like, Lord, we go on a lot of cruises, not a lot, but we've been on maybe 5 or 6. And I'm like, I don't want to become that where I'm, struggling at everything and have to be wheeled around. And Lord have mercy, I do not want to be there. So that was
By your own choosing,
yes.
you don't want to be that. Yeah, because I want to make sure that we're
Oh, no,
we're
yeah,
sensitive to the fact that some people don't have choices.
No,
right?
yes. Yes, absolutely. But it was, just in general, just the whole being, not being able to move. I want to be able to move, if God allows me to, and my health is good, I want to be able to, play with my my grandkids and everything. I just want to be active. I don't want to be struggling all the time.
So one of the things, I was having a conversation with a woman, and she was giving me tips. We had just found out that we were going to be grandparents, my husband and I, and she was giving me tips, and she said that her doctor told her after she had become grandma for the first time, she, there's this movement of picking up the baby all the time. And so the use of her joints and her elbows and her shoulders had gotten to the point where she couldn't pick them up anymore, right? Couldn't pick up the baby and then all the grandchildren who followed. And she was saying that her doctor said that that's very common for grandparents because they can no longer move, obviously, like they did in their 20s or early 30s. And so when I came home, I started to do the exercises that she was talking about, that her doctor said, and lifting my weights like I'm lifting a baby, so that I could strengthen that upper body, you know, strength, so that I could lift my baby boy. Yeah. Yeah.
And we're having twins. So I'm gonna be like,
Yeah.
Yeah, those are great light bulbs. Rosie?
I think for me was a few years ago when, you know, I always knew that sugar was bad for the body, but when I heard it in terms of sugar is cancer to your body, that was like, uh-oh, like that really struck a chord with me. And I knew that I had to switch. And, you know, I was more aware of the sugar in different ingredients, and I got rid of the white sugar, and eventually I got rid of, like, I have raw sugar, but I don't consume it, you know? So, yeah, that was a light bulb for me. And little by little, I just started switching. Like, I started doing monk fruit, and then now honey, and even,
Maple syrup.
what is it?
Maple syrup?
Agave. Yeah. So, and not a lot, you know, but that for me was like, oh my goodness, I want to live long enough, you know, for my daughter. I want to see her. I'm not at the point where, you know, she's getting married anytime soon, but I want to be young, or, you know, be active as much as I can, and just walk alongside with her and be at her pace. And, you know, and so that for me was transformational, or yeah, because I felt like I need to do something. This, if I keep going the way I'm going, I'm not gonna last long. And just thinking about our daughter and her future, you know, so that was my light bulb moment.
My sister-in-law's doctor, you know, we know my sister-in-law passed away from triple negative cancer, breast cancer. Her doctor put it this way, and it was, sugar feeds cancer. And when I heard that, it was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
And that changed my outlook on sugar, and the use of sugar. So I started to reduce it in my husband's coffee, you know. Yeah, so that's scary as heck, man.
It
Yeah,
is.
I think when what changed my light bulb moment was when I read the book It Starts with Food, and it was breaking down all of the things that food does to your body, like what sugar does to your body, what beans do to your body, what GMO
Grains,
do
yeah,
to your body, what and a lot of it is just that it's not natural. So if you're eating things that are processed, it's not natural, so your body doesn't know how to process it.
exactly.
So it just tries to figure out, like, okay, if I'm using these oils and they're refined at such high degrees that your body can't burn them off, what do we do with them? You know, so we send them to your hips. You know, we send those calories to your hips, or we send the sugar because we don't know what the sugar, you know, is going to do. And so so your body has to like figure out what to do with all of these things, GMO food, you know. And so I think that book changed my perspective on food, you know, because you know, like all those diets that we were going through, we were thinking fats, you know, fat-free is better for you. And, you know, sugar, like the fake sugars, the chemical sugars are better for you. And,
Yeah.
You know, skim milk is better for you. And like all of these things that the industry is saying is better for you. And you read this book and you realize, like, that is so not true. It's all about keeping you sick so that you can keep going on these diets, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so eating things that are less refined, with less ingredients, with better ingredients, is just so much better for your body, because your body, that's how God created our bodies, you know?
Right.
So after that light bulb moment, and you've come to this, you know, place of, okay, right now, I'm going to ask you one more time. Right now, is your body your friend or your foe?
Mhm.
You know where I stand, so I don't need to say
Nothing changed.
I'm in that journey of, you know, it's becoming my friend.
Good, good.
It's more my friend than my foe.
Okay, okay. So when you wake up in the morning and, you know, you open your eyes and you see, you know, a beautiful sunrise, or, you know, whatever, you're going to be grateful.
Yes, absolutely.
And Jeanette, when you take your, you know, hug your papa, and, you know, you're going to be grateful for your arms, right?
Yes.
And then Daisy, you're going to be grateful for your voice in the morning when
I
your lips,
actually, the
when
first
your
thing that I
kisses go
do
in the
in the
morning.
morning when I put my legs down on the floor is I thank God that I can still move my legs. Yes.
Amen.
So,
Amen.
yeah.
So Jeanette already used my scripture verse. So it's okay. We'll just reiterate this scripture verse because it's a good one. In Psalms 139, it says, for you created my innermost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in a secret place, when I was woven together in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. How precious are your thoughts how precious to me are your thoughts, God. How vast is the sum of them. Were I to count them, they would outnumber the grains of sand. When I wake, I am still with you. That tells us that that's what God thinks about us, our bodies. He created our bodies. He thinks they're masterpieces. He only thinks good thoughts about our bodies. He doesn't think, oh, Reg, what about that flab under your arms? Like, oh my gosh, Reg, your flabby thighs, whatever. He's not thinking those things. He's like, I made this chick, you know, I love her. I adore her. I knew when she was being made in the womb that this is what she was going to look like at 50. And I still made her this way, and I still love her. So one thing really quick, just give me one important and vital thing you do for your health every day.
One of the things that I do for my health is I stretch every day. Every morning, because as I'm getting older, I feel like I don't have that same mobility, so I have to stretch. So that's one thing that I do.
Mhm.
That too.
How much water do you drink?
I don't count, but one thing that I heard, that maybe it's one of those diet things, but I don't know, is to always, like, that should be the first thing you do, is drink at least 8 ounces of water every day. That should be the very first thing. So like, so I've been trying to do that, and then, you know, throughout the day, excuse me, throughout the day, drinking water as much as possible. I don't really drink anything else as far as, like, you know, soda or whatever. So I don't know. I haven't counted, but hopefully enough.
I just know that what I know is that if you have to drink, if you're the more yellow your urine is, the more you need to drink. So the more clear it is, the better you're doing on your water intake.
Yeah.
So I read a book, and the title of the book is really great because it says, you're not sick, you're thirsty. And I read that book, and so I don't measure either, but I gauge the color of my urine.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I do. First thing is water in the morning. I walk on my treadmill 2+ miles every single morning, and I drink room temperature water in the morning. It just cleanses me. So that's what I do to keep my legs moving, to keep my body clear. I drink water.
Mhm.
One of the things that I always make sure, I mean, I'm up and down with diets and food and whatever, but one of the things that I make sure that I do is I get my sleep. Like I I don't necessarily do 8 hours. I'm about a 7 hour sleeper, but I
Mhm.
make sure that I get my rest. Like that's the one thing that um, I know affects me every day. Like if I don't go to sleep early enough, I wake up and I feel it in my joints. I feel it in my,
Mhm.
my back. So I make sure that I get my rest because that's when your body's like resetting. And
Mhm.
so, the water, yes. The walking, yes. The stretching, I need to start, Rosie. You need to get your little stretching routine. But yes, all of those. And of course, like staying away from sugar and processed foods as much as possible.
Yeah.
It's what you can do, right?
Right. Because
Any
I'll
other final
have,
thoughts? Huh?
no, I was gonna say, because every once in a while I'll have a cookie or I'll have, pan con mantequilla. So
I mean,
bread with butter.
you have to have some type of like, you have to reward your body somehow, right? Friend.
Reward your emotions. That's what the cookies are for.
Okay.
I literally have like 7 feet in front of me on my kitchen counter these ginormous muffins from Costco that
I
are
know
like
what.
they're like pumpkin pie something and a coffee cake muffin thing. And of course it was 2 for this price. So it's like, okay, 2.
And it's just you and Papa.
I know. Well, we bought them when the kids were coming over last week and they're still there. I'm like, dang it. They didn't
Put them in the freezer. Put them in a single Ziploc bag and throw them
Freeze
in the
them.
freezer.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they
Mhm.
keep.
They keep.
Yeah.
There's a ton of preservatives in them. They keep.
Or just throw them out.
Ah, okay. Well, any final thoughts, my friends?
Continue the journey.
Yes. Let's do
You
this
know?
every day.
Yes.
Be
every day.
better than you were yesterday
Yes, I
Yes.
love that. Yep.
One day at a time.
and treat your body like you love her.
Yes.
One day at a time, sweet Jesus.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next time. Have a great evening.
Bye.
Bye.